The U.S. government just accused Cuba's former authoritarian leader of murdering American citizens. Acting U.S. Attorney Todd Blanche was here in Miami inside this building. It's called the Freedom Tower, and for years it was known as the Cuban Refugee Center, essentially an Ellis Island for Cuban expats here in Miami. In the 1960s and the 1970s, this was a place where Cuban asylum seekers came to get help in the United States. And so there's a lot of symbolism around this building. There's also a lot of symbolism about the day this is happening. This is Cuban Independence Day. And on this day, the Trump administration is taking new steps in a push for holding accountable Raul Castro. That name might sound familiar. Raul Castro is the former authoritarian leader of Cuba. He is also the brother of the late Fidel Castro, who was the leader of the 1959 Communist Revolution, which changed the future of US-Cuba relations and led to decades of tension. Multiple people are named in this indictment that was just unsealed, but Raul Castro himself is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals, 2 counts of destruction of aircraft, and 4 counts of murder. This indictment centers around an incident from February 24th, 1996. So we're talking more than 30 years ago. There was this group in Miami called Brothers to the Rescue. It was a volunteer Cuban-American exile community group that would fly over the water between Miami and Cuba. They would look for people who were fleeing Cuba in rafts. They would drop supplies. They would flag the U.S. Coast Guard. This group is credited with helping to save over 10,000 lives. So this was no small effort. The group also, at times, would get political. At least twice, they penetrated Cuban airspace, flew over Havana, and dropped pro-democracy leaflets. But bottom line, a congressional report has said that this group was unarmed, and we also know that one of the pilots from the Brothers to the Rescue group had alerted the control tower in Havana that they were heading that way. So these Brothers to the Rescue planes are heading toward Cuba. Cuba scrambles fighter jets and shoots down 2 of these small Cessna planes, and 4 people were killed, 3 Americans and 1 U.S. permanent resident. Cuba said that the planes violated its airspace. The U.S. government says these planes were in international waters, says this was a violation of international law, and now the Trump administration is trying to get justice in American court.
We are announcing an indictment charging Raul Castro and several others with conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals.
As Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche started reading through the details of this, there was applause and even standing ovations from the crowd here at the Freedom Tower, which was filled with dozens of people, including family members of those who were killed. I had the chance to speak with some of those family members.
It was something unexpected, maybe that had been put in the back of my mind, but always wanting it, that this day would come.
There are also questions about the practicality of this. Will Raul Castro ever actually face justice in the United States? He is 94 years old. Of course, the Cuban government and the U.S. government are not on the best of terms. Here's what the Acting Attorney General said.
We expect it.
So I know that was a longer intro, right? But I wanted you guys to have the full explanation of what exactly is happening here, because it's quite fascinating. And, Todd Blanche recently said something that was quite interesting. And, I'm liking Todd Blanche replacing Pam Bondi. This has been quite phenomenal. He has done a phenomenal job recently. So shout out to Todd Blanche, man. Shout out to Todd Blanche. But, yeah, even Ana Navarro couldn't even disagree with this. Yes, the View's own, and we just talked about the View yesterday, Ana Navarro actually did not push back against this. Check it out.
Hi, you all. I just did a bonus episode of my podcast, Bleep with Ana Navarro, breaking down the reasons, the politics, the history, the facts behind today's indictment by the U.S. government against Raul Castro, the dictator in Cuba. Listen, Trump does a lot of crazy shit for crazy reasons. This was justified and warranted. I hope you will listen to the podcast to understand the context and why this happened today.
Nah, we ain't listening to that podcast. But, hey, you didn't hear her disagree, right? You didn't hear her disagree. But yeah, Listen, this is something major. I think it could lead to a Maduro type situation, and I'm gonna explain a little bit more why here in a little bit when I play the clip of what Todd Blanche had to say about the situation. But of course, you know, the liberals are out. They're protesting already. Oh my goodness, Trump's taking a dictator. How dare him? You know, what liberals do. I'm not gonna bore you guys with, you know, the screaming and screeching of a bunch of liberals. But they're angry, of course, because whatever Trump does, they're angry about, of course. But here's the clip. Here's the clip of what Todd Blanche had to say, and it is the reason why I'm like, oh, we about to see some fireworks, baby. This is about to turn into a Nicolas Maduro type of situation. Check it out.
And quick follow-up, what are the prospects that you could get Raul Castro to the United States to face justice, given the situation there, and what steps are the U.S. willing to take to get him back here?
Well, we indict men outside of this country all the time, and there's all kinds of different ways that we get them here. The reason why we indict somebody is because we want them here to face justice in front of a jury of their peers. So. How we go about doing that obviously depends on the circumstances in the case, and I'm not going to go beyond that, but we expect, we didn't indict, this isn't a show indictment. This is an indictment because we expect that there was a warrant issued for his arrest. So we expect that he will show up here by his own will or by another way and go to prison.
We expect for him to show up here by his own will or another way. What does that say? Oh, and that rhymed. That says to me, hey, Cuba, you saw what we just did to Maduro, okay? Y'all struggling over there. So y'all don't even have the capabilities that Venezuela had. So what do you think we're going to do to you? You think y'all going to stop us? Us getting through y'all defenses will be like cutting a hot knife through butter. Easy. It'd be like taking candy from a baby. Easy. It'd be like a stroll in the park on a Sunday morning. Easy. You know? So try if you want. F around and find out if you will. But we can do this the easy way. We can do this the hard way. Not gonna really be too hard for us, but it's gonna be hard for you. Because we ain't coming to play. You know? So I love it. And me personally, I'm kind of hoping Cuba wants to play hardball. Because I want to see it. I want to see some action, baby. I want to see some action. I love, bro. You know, watching America, you know, throw around its power a little bit. You know, I love to see it. I love to see us throw around our might a little bit. You know, just a little bit. We ain't got to do too much. Right? We ain't got to go after the good folks, okay? But Nicolas Maduro, terrible dictator, yeah, get him up out of here. Raul Castro, terrible dictator, get him up out of here. Terrible guy. You know, show of force. I love it. Meanwhile, right, the people of Cuba are celebrating while these liberals, you know, are super angry. And here's one individual. Check that out.
I think I tried to make this video like 4 times. First of all, because I have to make it in English and it's not my fluent language, but I'm gonna do it. And then I'm gonna say in Spanish. To all Trump haters, to all those who hate Trump be the president of the United States or decisions that Trump take, let me just say something to you. Please take Cuba out of your damn mouth. That's it. Honestly. When you guys care about Cuba before? When anybody care about Cuba? When any other president cares about Cuba? When you guys ever even knew the situation in Cuba? Cuba was just the tourist place. traveling in time, place where Beyonce and Jay-Z used to go and the Kardashians. Nobody ever fucking cared about Cuba. Oh, Cuba having blackouts. Oh, because Donald Trump do a blockade for oil. No, dear, let me tell you something. Cuba's been having fucking blackouts for 67 years. Cuba's been living under a dictatorship government for 67 years. Cuba has a lack of medicine, lack of food, lack of dignity, and lack of freedom for 67 years. Has nothing to be with the decision that the President Trump take. So please, if you ever didn't even care about Cuba, don't care now. Don't use it to be against Trump. Oh my God, Trump is killing kids in Cuba because he put a blockade on oil. No, honey. The own government of Cuba is the one been doing this. And I'm sorry if my English is the worst, I know, but I'm so pissed right now seeing so many fucking videos of people saying that, oh, because Trump do a blockade on oil, Cuba is the situation. No, honey. Fine. Research before you talk so much shit. I'm sorry, but I'm pissed. En español ya, el que lo quiera que lo traduzca. Estoy cansada de ver videitos de personas hablando ahora de que Cuba está pasando por lo que está pasando porque el presidente Trump le puso un bloqueo al aceite. No, mi amor, Cuba está pasando esto hace más de 67 años. Llevamos viviendo apagones más de 67 años. No tiene nada que ver con el bloqueo de aceite que puso Donald Trump. Oh, and by the way, Cuba used to have free oil, and we're still having blackouts. I forget about that part. So please, okay, leave Cuba alone. You don't care before, don't care now.
I agree with her, right? You see these liberals and these Democrats out here all of a sudden acting as if they care so much about Cuba, but in reality, it's just to try to take a dig at Trump. And you just heard from a Cuban woman herself. Our country has been crap for over 60 years. Trump's decisions on the blockade on oil, listen, that had very little to do with the situation in Cuba. Like, did it make it better? No, of course not. But our situation was already terrible because of these dictators. Even when we had free oil, the power was still getting cut off, which is crazy. that fact was crazy that she said. When oil was basically free, the power was getting cut off. That is crazy. But yeah, man, it seems like we're gonna have another Nicolas Maduro type of situation if Mr. Castro decides to play hardball and not come to the U.S. to face a jury of his peers, which is going to be quite entertaining. Listen, I know some of y'all are like, Rich, I don't like it. Listen, I love it. It showcases strength because when we can go onto another country's land and say, you know what, we want your leader, we taking him, he coming with us, and there's nothing that they can do about it, bro, do you know how much strength that shows? How much cojones that shows? I believe that's the proper word, right? Like, when we went and took Maduro, and they had the Russian radar systems, and then the Chinese surface-to-air missile systems, or China's surface-to-air missile systems, and then, of course, Maduro had his soldiers, and none of them did anything? You don't think that sends a little shiver down Putin's spine? You don't think that raises the hairs on the back of the neck of Xi Jinping? Like, damn, those are our surface-to-air missiles. They didn't do a single thing to that American fleet. It did nothing, not even a scratch, not a single life lost. Putin's over there like, bro, how did they get past our radar systems? What are they doing? Are they flying above us? Hey, yo, we're going to have to rework them radar systems, yo. Just saying. Showcases strength, showcases might. And sometimes, you got to flex a little bit to remind folks, we the big dogs. Just saying. I'm just saying. But as always, y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions about all of this. Do you want to see another Nicolas Maduro type situation? Let me know. And how do you think this is going to play out? Do you think he's just going to come to the U.S. and be like, yeah, listen, I don't want no smoke, brother. I don't want no smoke. I'm going to face my trial. Or do you think he's going to play hardball? Let me know. Peace and love. I'm out.